Today in this video, we are going to be going over every time Olenna outplayed and outsmarted someone in Game of Thrones. In the video, we will be going over Olenna vs Tyrion.
It's shaping up to be a very involved affair. The word extravagant has been used.
What good is the word extravagant if it can't be used to describe a royal wedding?
Olenna vs Tywin.
People who spend their money on this sort of nonsense tend not to have it for long.
Olenna vs Varys.
Have I? Because I spoke to her once in this garden and one of your little spies came running to tell you? Why shouldn't I take an interest? She's an interesting girl.
And finally, Olenna vs Littlefinger.
You, Lord Baelish, that our fates are joined. Together we murdered a king.
So let's get into the video, and we are going to be looking into Olenna vs Tyrion. To begin with, what happens when the most feared family in Westeros suddenly can't cover their bar tab? For years, House Lannister ran on one line: a Lannister always pays his debts. That phrase alone did more work than any army. It screamed wealth, power, untouchable. Then in season 3, Tyrion gets handed the job of Master of Coin, cracks open the books, and realises the crown is flat broke. And now they owe big money to the Iron Bank. And now he's basically financially chained to the Tyrells. So let's break down the meeting where Tyrion asks Olenna Tyrell to split the wedding bill. Because on paper, that's what happens, but what actually happens is Olenna walks in and quietly executes his entire reputation, without raising her voice once. Quick context, Littlefinger, the old Master of Coin, wasn't managing the treasury, he was looting it, borrowing a fortune to fund Robert's tournaments and leaving Tyrion a live grenade. Joffrey wants an obscenely expensive wedding. Tyrion can't say no to the king, and he definitely can't go crawling to Tywin for cash. So his only move is the Tyrells. He walks in expecting a normal negotiation. He does not get one.
Odds, boy, that's enough. We're not in a tavern. There's no need to speak. Are there any figs? Fetch some.
First thing that happens, Olenna completely ignores him, redirects his own squire mid-pour, tells the kid to go fetch figs instead. That's a power move. Commandeering someone's staff in their own office to prove their authority means nothing in the room. Tyrion has already been demoted to spectator in his own meeting. Then she starts talking about her digestion. Genuinely, figs, bowel movements, mid-afternoon routine.
Figs mid-afternoon, they help move the bowels. To what do I owe this summon?
That's not random old lady chat, that's strategy. She is deliberately dragging the importance of this meeting down to the level of a bathroom break, because Tyrion showed up ready for high-stakes statecraft, and she's not going to give him that dignity. He tries to frame the wedding cost as extravagant. She takes the word and owns it.
It's shaping up to be a very involved affair. The word extravagant has been used.
What good is the word extravagant if it can't be used to describe a royal wedding?
What else is a royal wedding for, if not to be extravagant? Because to her, this isn't a party. It's a broadcast. It's proof to the entire continent that the Lannister-Tyrell alliances has money to burn. In this world, spending big is the military deterrent. Then Tyrion plays what he thinks is his trump card.
I understand that.
Good.
But as Master of Coin, it falls upon me to calculate the cost for the crown. As of now, a huge expense.
And?
And we're at war, Lady Olenna.
Oh, I nearly forgotten.
Yes, and maintaining supply
I can't
lines.
think how it slipped my mind.
We are at war. Olenna doesn't even blink. Drip sarcasm. Oh, I nearly forgot. And then just casually recites from memory the Tyrell's entire military and agricultural contribution down to the exact numbers.
What is it? 12,000 infantrymen the Tyrell family has supplied, 1,800 mounted lancers, 2,000 in support, provisions so this city might survive the winter, 1,000,000 bushels of wheat, 500,000 bushels each of barley, oats and rye, 20,000 head of cattle, 50,000 sheep. You don't have to lecture me about wartime expenses. I'm quite familiar with.
Infantry, cavalry, cattle, sheeps, bushels of grain, total gut punch. She is not asking him to imagine her power, she is handing him the receipts. The message is clean. Your family isn't funding this war. Mine is. Don't lecture me about pie costs. Then she flips it completely.
We are so grateful for your contributions, which are necessary for the preservation of the realm.
As is a royal wedding. The people are hungry for more than just food. They crave distractions. And if we don't provide them, they'll create their own. And their distractions are likely to end with us being torn to pieces. A royal wedding is much safer, wouldn't you say?
I would.
The people don't just need bread, they need spectacle. Or they'll riot again like they already did once. A big wedding is cheap insurance against another mob trying to tear the royal family apart. This is basically bread and circuses 101. Keep people distracted and fed and they won't come for you with pitchforks. Tyrion can't argue with that. He just says, I would. And then she goes for the jugular, personally.
And traditionally paid for by the royal family. I was told you were drunk, impertinent, and thoroughly debauched. You can imagine my disappointment at finding nothing but a browbeaten bookkeeper.
Tells him she'd heard that was some legendary drunk, sharp-tongued menace, and instead she's looking at the browbeaten bookkeeper. That's not just an insult, that's her diagnosing exactly how thoroughly Tywin has crushed him. In the end, she agrees to pay for half, which raises the real question. If she just proved the crown needs her more than she needs them, why hand over the gold at all? Because paying isn't charity here, it's leverage. She's buying control of the wedding, the guest list, the chaos of the event itself. And we all know what she actually does with the control. The wedding becomes the perfect cover to poison Joffrey mid-feast. So, what's the takeaway? Whoever controls the supply chain makes the rules. Tyrion was probably the smartest man in the capital, and none of it mattered because Olenna didn't need to threaten him. She just put the numbers on the table and let him realise his family would starve without her. That's the real lesson. If your survival depends entirely on someone else, you're not their partner, you are their dependent. Tyrion thought he was negotiating a catering bill. Olenna was auditioning an empire. Now, moving on to Olenna versus Tywin. How do you humiliate the scariest warlord in Westeros without ever raising a voice? Easy. You don't threaten him. You just remind him that you are paying his rent. We are in season 4. Joffrey and Marjorie's wedding is in full swing. An absurd, over-the-top spectacle, but off to the side in the gardens, the two people actually running this empire, Tywin Lannister and Olenna Tyrell, are having quite a chat. Looks like two grandparents griping about the catering bill. It's actually a full-on financial execution. Tywin spent his whole life building this untouchable, all-powerful image. Olenna knows the truth. House Lannister is broke. Let's break down how she uses this exact conversation to humiliate him, and now she's using it as a cover for something much bigger. Quick context, the gold mines at Castle Rock have been dry for years. The crown owes a fortune to the Iron Bank, and the only reason the Lannister regime hasn't collapsed is because the Tyrells, the richest, most agricultural, loaded family in Westeros, stepped in and agreed to fund half this ridiculous wedding. Tywin hates this. Relying on someone else's money wrecks his whole "we don't need anybody" act. So he walks into the garden looking to score a point on the Tyrells. Instead, Olenna hands him the bill. He opens with a dig how over the top the wedding is.
Bit much, wouldn't you say?
She doesn't flinch.
It feels proportionate.
He pushes proportionate to what?
Proportionate to what?
She says people expect extravagance.
The expected extravagance.
And that's actually a smart read on the moment. The city just rioted from starvation, so the spectacle isn't a waste. It's crowd control. She understands the mob psychology better than the guy who commands armies for a living. Tywin then takes a real swing,
People who spend their money on this sort of nonsense tend not to have it for long.
basically calling the Tyrells reckless with their cash. Olenna doesn't even engage with the money angle. She goes straight for his soul.
You ought to try enjoying something before you die. You might find it suits you.
That's brutal. She's pointing out he spent his whole life hoarding power and has nothing to show for it emotionally. Then her son Mace, the actual head of House Tyrell, wanders up and she waves him off like a kid interrupting adults talking.
Not now, Mace. Lord Tywin and I are speaking.
That's not a throwaway moment. In a rigid patriarchy where Mace technically outranks her, she just told Tywin, skip the middleman, I'm the one you do it with. And Tywin doesn't push back, he respects it, because he recognises real power when he sees it. With Mace gone, and she goes for the kill.
Anyway, I don't know what you're complaining about. I'm paying my share.
She reminds him she's paying her share, so he's got no room to complain. He fires back with sarcastic nonsense about golden roses on meat pies.
Do we stick golden roses and half the meat pies to commemorate your generosity?
She matches him dry as ever.
Oh, your heartfelt thank you is its own reward.
Your heartfelt thank you is its own reward. Basically calling that he can't even manage basic gratitude.
I would imagine I'd be hearing it again before long.
Because wars are expensive and everyone knows his military wins were brought on credit.
Wars are rather expensive.
Then she goes nuclear, brings up the Iron Bank.
The Iron Bank will have its due.
The Iron Bank will have its due. And then she makes the connection explicit.
Almost as much as you Lannisters with your debt.
The Lannisters built their whole identity on "we always pay our debts," and now they are the ones begging for money like everyone else. That slogan just became a punchline, and she says it to his face without even raising her voice. Tywin tries to bluff.
I'm not worried about the Iron Bank.
She doesn't even argue, she just says,
We both know you're smarter than that.
which is somehow more devastating than calling him a liar. Then she ends the whole conversation on her terms.
Come, Tywin, let us celebrate young love.
Turns it into a command dressed up as small talk. And here's the part that makes it look so much worse for Tywin. In the books, the Iron Bank isn't just some annoyed accountants. They are the guys who fund your rivals and physically remove kings who stop paying. There's also law tying them to the faceless men. So when Olenna brings them up, she's not talking about a bad credit score. She's reminding Tywin that there are people across the sea who can end his entire bloodline if the money stops moving. All his armies mean nothing against that. And that real gut punch, while she's dismantling Tywin's finances in the garden, she's about to walk back and poison his grandson. Paying for half the wedding wasn't generosity, it was access, control of the venue, the guest list, and proximity to Joffrey's cup. She has out-strategized the smartest man in Westeros while standing 3 feet away from him, necklace already loaded. The takeaway reputation means nothing if the match doesn't back it up. You can wear the scariest armor in the room, but if you depend on someone else's money to survive, you're not in charge, you are a client. Real power isn't a family name, it's a balance sheet. Tywin went into that garden to discipline a spender and walked out having just been audited and humiliated by someone who outthought him without ever needing a sword. So, was Tywin's denial about the Iron Bank actually confidence or just pure delusion?
Littlefinger is one of the most dangerous men in Westeros.
Forget the battles, forget the dragons, forget the swords. The real Game of Thrones is two brilliant people smiling at each other in a garden while they quietly outmaneuver everyone else in the capital. This time, it's Varys versus Olenna Tyrell, the spider who knows everyone's secrets against the sharpest tongue in Westeros. And they are not fighting, they are negotiating, but even when two master manipulators are on the same side, it's still a chess match because both of them know exactly what they're doing and what the other one's doing as well. Varys needs the Tyrells to keep Sansa away from Littlefinger. Olenna needs intel to protect her family's position, and watching them get there is genuinely some of the best writing in the show.
Personally welcome you to King's Landing. The city has been made brighter by your presence.
Classic Varys. She shuts that down instantly.
The city is made brighter by my presence. Is that your usual line, Lord Varys? You here to seduce me?
She's not falling for it, and more importantly, she's telling him she knows he doesn't waste words. So if he's complimenting her, he wants something.
A little obvious, perhaps.
He just admits it, no deflection, and that's actually smart on his part because Olenna respects that more than more flattery would have gotten him. She even jokes about it herself.
Please, seduce away. It's been so long. I rather think it's all for naught. What happens when the non-existent bumps against the decrepit? Question for the philosophers.
Disarming the whole thing with humour while also letting him know she's fully aware of what he is and doesn't care. Then she cuts him off.
But you've come mincing all this way for something, so...
He didn't walk all this way for nothing, so what does he want? That's Olenna's whole style. She doesn't do small talk, she wants the point.
Might I sit?
He asks to sit.
No.
She says no. Not being petty, she's establishing that this is her space and he plays by her rules. Then she throws him a bone.
I've heard you're such a clever man. I'm curious why you sought me out.
That's not a compliment, that's a dare. Prove it. So he does. He goes straight to the point.
You've taken an interest in Sansa Stark?
And now there can be no more games. She deflects, and she says that she already talked to Sansa once, and clearly one of his little birds ran and told him.
Have I? Because I spoke to her once in this garden and one of your little spies came running to tell you? Why shouldn't I take an interest? She's an interesting girl.
She's playing it casual while also calling out his spy network in the same breath. He pushes back.
Is she?
Basically calling her bluff, and she drops the act.
No, not particularly. She's had an interesting childhood.
No, Sansa herself isn't especially interesting. Her bloodline is. She is the last Stark, which makes her the key to the North. Olenna's being honest now. She sees the strategic value and isn't hiding it. Varys pretends to bail, says he thought they wanted the same thing for Sansa, sorry to waste her time.
She has, sadly. Well, forgive me for wasting your time then. I thought we shared certain hopes for her well-being.
Classic reverse psychology. He knows she's interested. He's just making her to be the one to reel him back in, and she does. Inviting him to actually walk and talk, acknowledging along the way that even the shrubbery has ears in this city.
Come. You surrender rather easily. Walk with me. I know the walls have ears, but apparently the shrubbery does too.
He lays out his philosophy.
Carefully. And my enemies more carefully still.
Picks allies carefully, enemies more carefully. She asks flat out what Sansa is to him.
Neither. A babe in the woods. I admired her father.
And adds that he admired her father. That's him getting personal, trying to frame this as more than politics. She doesn't let him off easy though, points out plenty of people admired Ned Stark, and none of them lifted a finger when Joffrey had him executed.
Yes, Ned Stark had many admirers, and how many stepped forward when the executioner came for his head?
Basically, Admiration means nothing without action. Varys owns it. He couldn't save the father, maybe he can save the daughter.
I could not help Lord Stark. Perhaps I can help his daughter.
Then he drops the real reason he's here.
You're not the only one who has taken an interest in her.
Someone else has taken an interest in our Sansa.
That's hardly surprising. She's a beautiful girl with a famous name.
Someone dangerous.
Littlefinger is not long for the capital. A confidant of mine has told me that when he goes, Sansa Stark goes with him.
Littlefinger. He's about to leave the capital, and word is Sansa's going with him. If Robb dies, Sansa becomes heir to the north, and whoever marries her gets the north.
Littlefinger was born with no lands, no wealth, no armies. He has acquired the first two. How long before he has the army?
Olenna doesn't need it spelled out further. She finishes the thought herself. Varys frames it as tragic. Poor girl.
Which seems such a shame. Why should a man with such a low reputation steal away such a lovely bride?
Shouldn't end up with a man with Littlefinger's reputation. But really, he's just building the case that they can't let it happen. Olenna tests him again. Asks if this is really about hatred for Littlefinger.
You must despise him. You're working so hard to undermine him.
He's honest. No, he actually likes the guy.
Actually, I rather enjoy him. But he would see this country burn if he could be king of the ashes.
But Littlefinger would happily burn the realm down just to rule the ashes. Some chaos is a ladder. Philosophy that makes him dangerous.
You're a clever man, Lord Varys.
She calls him clever. He says he's got a possible solution.
You are too kind. I believe I have a possible solution.
And she already knows what it is before he even says it. Marry Sansa off to a Tyrell.
One doesn't need to be clever for that. It's all rather obvious, isn't it?
Keep her under their protection. Keep her out of Littlefinger's reach. Obvious. Once you see the whole board. So what actually happened here? Two of the smartest people in Westeros both know exactly what the other wanted, and instead of saying it outright, they danced around it with wit and strategy, until they landed on an agreement neither of them had to say out loud. Varys played emotional appeals and threat assessment and a fake retreat. Olenna played bluntness, humour and patience. Neither one blinked first for long. And the wildest part, nobody asked Sansa anything. Her entire future just got decided in a 5-minute garden chat by two people who barely know her. That's the real tragedy of this show. The people actually in control never draw swords. They just smile, compliment each other, and quietly reshape the board. So who do you think won this one? Did Varys play her, or did she see through him the whole way? And would Sansa have actually been safer with Littlefinger?
You, Lord Baelish, that our fates are joined. Together we murdered a king.
Together, we murdered a king. That might be the most dangerous sentence anyone ever says to Littlefinger. Because in one line, Olenna Tyrell flips the power dynamic on the guy who thinks he's controlling everything. Before we get into it, you've got to understand why this meeting is even happening. Because on the surface, it makes zero sense. Olenna knows Littlefinger's a snake, she doesn't trust him, but she's desperate. Cersei's unleashed a faith militant on her family. Loras arrested, Marjorie arrested as well. And Olenna's tired of everything. And she has tried everything as well. She bribed the High Sparrow, threatened him with her army, gone to Tom and nothing works. She's out of the allies in the capital except one guy, the one who helped her poison Joffrey. So she goes, not because she trusts him, but because she's got nobody else. Littlefinger picks a meeting spot on purpose, his brothel, now smashed to pieces by the Faith Militant. Classic move for him. Same thing he pulled on Catelyn Stark back in Season 1. Drag a highborn woman somewhere chaotic and dirty, so she feels off balance and easier to manipulate. He figures the brackage will make Olenna pliable. He's wrong. This woman survived 70 years in Westeros. A broken brothel isn't going to rattle her. He opens the fake courtesy apologising for the mess, even though he picked the mess.
I'm sorry about the locale.
It's a power move because saying, I control the setting, I control you. She shuts it down instantly.
No, you're not.
3 words. And his whole polite host act is dead on arrival. He tries again.
It felt like the safest place.
Calls it the safest place, reminding her they are conspirators who need secrecy. She mocks him instead.
Not for your clientele, clearly.
Points out he couldn't even protect his own business, so how's he going to protect her? Pretty much a straight attack on his incompetence, which is basically his whole identity. So he pivots, bragging about how sophisticated his brothel was.
It was an establishment like no other. A sheer range of appetites catered to. Desires that didn't even exist until we invented
How
them.
he catered to desires people didn't even know they had. Classic narcissistic move. Can't win on competence. So he flexes ego instead. She doesn't bite. Not just an insult, she's diagnosing him.
Always been rather impressed with yourself, haven't you?
Treating him like a little kid showing off a drawing. That takes all the air out of his performance. He switches tactics again, tries intimidation, brings up.
Past is the past. The future is all that's worth discussing. The future of House Tyrell.
Basically reminding her that her grandkids are locked up and her house is on the brink, so she needs him. She doesn't let him have that one either, tells him not to pretend he cares about her family.
Don't pretend to have any concern for my house, my grandchildren, or me. I should have known you'd return to the capital as soon as things started to go wrong.
And calls out his whole MO. He shows up whenever there's chaos, because chaos is a ladder for him. And he climbs it, straight up calls him a scavenger.
I promise you, Lord Baelish, that our fates are joined.
He tries to cut it in and make a deal. She doesn't let him, and then she says it.
That we murdered a king.
That's a nuclear line. This is mutually assured destruction. If I go down, you go down with me. And that's terrifying for him, especially because his entire empire is built on nobody knowing what he's actually done. The second people learn he killed a king, Cersei executes him, his allies scatter. It's over. Then she goes further, meaning I've got nothing to lose, so don't threaten me.
If my house should fall, I will have nothing to hide.
And she even closes off the option of just killing her right there. Basically tells him she's got safeguards, letters, witnesses, so even an accident won't save him. He's checkmated, no moves left.
If I should meet with some accident here at your broken little flesh market, they'll never even find what's left of you.
Now she flips into interrogation mode, demands to know if he had a hand in her grandkid's arrest. He plays victim, says Cersei summoned him, he had no choice.
Cersei summoned me to King's Landing. I dared not refuse her.
And what did she want?
She kept pressing until he admits it. He gave up to Oliver.
Piece of information she knew that I had. Neither silence nor lies were an option.
The squire who slept with Loras as a witness against him. Total betrayal of House Tyrell, dressed up as I had no choice. Realizing he can't fight her, he does what he does best. Sells someone else out to save him.
But I have other information, of which she is unaware. And as you say, our interests are aligned. I have a gift for you.
Offers her a gift. Except this time it's Lancel Lannister, Cersei's cousin, former lover, and accomplice in murdering King Robert. Now a guilt-ridden religious zealot ready to confess everything. And that one tip sets off a chain reaction. Lancel confesses. Cersei gets thrown in a cell and forced to walk naked through the city. She retaliates by blowing up the set with wildfire, killing Marjorie, Loras, and the High Sparrow in one shot, and Tommen, watching his wife die, jumps out the window. Littlefinger thought he was making a smart trade to save his own skin. He had no idea he was handing Olenna the match that would eventually wipe out her own family too. He wanted chaos. He got an apocalypse. His whole philosophy is chaos is a ladder. Olenna just proved that sometimes chaos is a cage. You can't manipulate someone who's already decided they have nothing left to lose. She turned his own survival instinct into a weapon against him and flipped the entire board. But here's the tragic part. By using him to bring down Cersei, she accidentally lit the fuse that destroyed her own house too. She won the fight, but she lost the war. So, was this Olenna's greatest win, or the move that doomed her whole family? Let me know what you think in the comments below. But thank you for watching this video, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and also comment below your thoughts on Olenna and her tactical stances on Tyrion, Tywin, Varys, and Littlefinger, and also let me know in the comments who you think that she outplayed the best. I honestly think that she outplayed all of them quite fairly. If you have any other suggestions on what character I should do next and how they outplayed everyone in Game of Thrones, leave a comment and tell me who you think I should do next.